How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech. So it's time for another tech news video where we go over all of the tech news that happened in this week. There has been quite a few GPU related news articles that's been going around, so we're going to cover some of those, and then of course some cryptocurrencies, and then just some other ones that's also there. But with that being said, let's get into the tech news right after this. Do you live in South Africa and want to get yourself some awesome new gaming products? Well, go check out Rebel Tech. They have extremely low prices and they stock all the major brands like ASUS, MSI, Gigabyte, Corsair, and many more. You're also able to get Destiny 2 when purchasing selected NVIDIA GTX 1080 or 1080 Ti graphics cards. So check out the link in the video description to go get yourself a new graphics card and a new game. Okay, so the first topic is going to be NVIDIA readying to launch a new GTX 1060 card. Now, we already have the 6GB version and the 3GB version, but now we're also going to get a 5GB version. Now, this 5GB version is almost exactly the same as the 6GB, has the same CUDA cores, a few others specs as well, but it does only have 5GB of memory, like I said, and then also it's running a 160-bit memory interface, so that's even lower than the 3GB model. The reason for this is it's going to apparently have a TDP of 75 watts, which means you can run it on your motherboard straight without needing to have external power from your graphics card. This is mostly aimed for the Asian market, so China, where they have big gaming cafes where people go in, they rent out the space, and then they just game all out. And then also they don't need that strong of a power supply to handle the card. So 75 watts instead of 100 watts, and then you don't underclock or overclock it. So they do save a bunch of money on not only power but also on hardware power supply, which they don't need. Now, the 5GB of VRAM is mostly aimed for games like PUBG, which is the most played game at the moment on Steam, and I don't know, probably in the entire world now already. So, but it's mostly aimed for that. That's why the 5GB of VRAM will help just to handle higher graphics games a bit more, and also be able to future-proof for the next 2 years probably. So that's mostly what this card is aimed for, but unfortunately, well, not really unfortunately, I don't think anybody's gonna buy it here, but the card is only going to be available in the Asian market and also only in bulk orders. They won't be able to order 1 card, 2 cards, 3 cards. They have to order probably like 100 or so to get an order placed, and then NVIDIA will probably make the cards just for them. So it's not gonna be for us Westerners, or I don't even know what we are really here in South Africa. So the rest of the world is not going to get these GPUs, which isn't really a big deal because we already have the 3GB and the 6GB. So the middle one, I don't really need it, and the 2000 series is probably gonna come out in May next year, so that's not really too long of a wait anyway. So yeah. And then still keeping up with NVIDIA, NVIDIA is going to drop support for the 32-bit operating system from 2018. So they're only going to support 64-bit operating systems from then on, and I don't know why they haven't done this sooner, because I don't know who still really uses 32-bit operating systems and NVIDIA graphics cards. So I think, yeah, why not? They can do it. It's also, if you're still running a 32-bit operating system on your system, you're only limited to like 4GB of RAM. And yeah, you're not gonna run a new graphics card anyway, so you're anyway due for a new upgrade anyway. So yeah. And then some more GPU news. Micron has completed GDDR6 designs and qualifications, so that it is going to hit production in the first half of 2018. We have talked about this a few episodes back, where the GDDR6 qualifications and all of the specs, but now it's actually done, and it's going to be able to be produced in the new NVIDIA and AMD graphics cards, which is gonna be nice. Now, when we did cover the GDDR6 a while back, the rumors were that it is going to support 16 gigabits a second, but now it is going to reach 16 gigabits a second, but at the launch it's only going to be able to reach 12 to 14 gigabits a second, and later on it'll develop into 16 16 gigabits a second. But it is still going to be faster than GDDR5X, which is the 1080 Ti. Still going to be faster than that, but most of the technology is also very similar to that as well. Now, you're probably thinking, why not go to HBM2 instead of GDDR6? Well, HBM2 is still very expensive, and to have it in more of a budget card, let's say like a 2050 Ti or a 2060, is just going to be way too expensive. If you just look at the Vega cards and even the new Volta graphics cards, they're really expensive. So for more of the normal consumers like us, HBM2 will not be the best idea, so that's why NVIDIA will probably still go with GDDR6 for the main platform. Perhaps they will go for like the 2080 Ti, they'll go for HBM2 because HBM2 is a bit faster, so perhaps there, but for the lower spec cards, GDDR6 is the way to go. Now also, GDDR6 will come in 8 gigs and 16 gig densities, while the standards will be followed by the JEDEC, which allows for up to 32 gig dies. The 8 gig DRAM dies will allow for up to 8 gigs of VRAM on a 256-bit wide card and 12 gigs of VRAM on a 384-bit card. The 16 gig dies will essentially have double the VRAM, since each chip will feature 2 gigs of VRAM, and the 384-bit bus cards could feature up to 24 gig dies, with the 32 gig densities will deliver 48 gigs of VRAM along the same interface. So we are going to see a nice boost in VRAM for the new GDDR6 cards, and then also it does have a nice big jump in bandwidth from 12 gigs for the GDDR5X, which was the 1080 Ti, up to 16 gigs, which will be added later on. When taking a look at the Titan XP, which had a total bandwidth of 547.7 gigabytes a second using 11.4 gigabits a second GDDR5X chips. With the first generation of GDDR5X chips, we were running at 10 gigabits a second on the GTX 1080, which was recently upgraded to even faster 11 gigabits a second for the GDDR5X chips. So we're going to see a much faster bandwidth as well, from 11.4 all the way up to later on 16, but even 12 or 14 gigabits a second will be a very welcome feature. Now I just hope these upgrades will be able to handle 4K at 144 Hz, especially with HDMI 2.1 coming out as well. Hopefully all of that will be able to handle 4K at 144 Hz, because like I mentioned in the previous episodes, Asus and Acer did develop 4K monitors that is running at 144 Hz, but at the moment nothing is able to handle that amount of frames and pixels. So hopefully all of this new technology will be able to handle those displays. Okay, now we get into some cryptocurrency news, and 2017 has to be the year for Bitcoin. It had a massive growth of 20 times in the course of 2017. At the beginning of the year, it was roughly $900 for a single Bitcoin, and in December it reached even a high of $19,783 for a single Bitcoin. So a 20 times growth in a single year. That is really crazy. And if you got into like just $900, then you have a lot of money, which I know a lot of people did become millionaires literally in this year only. And just to add on how big cryptocurrencies has actually gotten, Bitcoin was one of the highest ranked searches on Google, and if you actually go look at it, South Africa was the country that had the most searches for Bitcoins, which was pretty crazy. Slovenia was also Netherlands, Nigeria and Austria, while the US was only 16th rank on the list, so they didn't really care about Bitcoin, so which was weird. I thought they would actually be on top, of course. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to see for all of the South Africans out there. We apparently really do like our Bitcoins, and we want to know what's going on. So yeah, that was just pretty cool to see. But of course, with such huge popularity and growth in the cryptocurrency, there has to be some bad news. And for South Korea now, the government wants to be able to track who sells cryptocurrencies on their exchanges. So they want the exchanges to not offer any anonymous transactions. They want everybody to be registered, and they want to know who is actually buying and selling cryptocurrencies on the exchanges to be able to, of course, probably tax them, track them, and then just control the world. But also the governor of the Financial Supervisor Service in South Korea said that I bet the bubble of Bitcoin will burst a bit later. And this is something that has been being said probably for the last few years now, and especially in 2017, everybody said, no, it's just a bubble, it's gonna burst, and it hasn't yet. They've been saying this for a long time now, and it's not going to burst, it's just gonna keep going. It's probably not gonna have a crazy year like 2017 again, we don't know, but with the new technology, it's entirely new, it's revolutionary, so it's going to really just be awesome to see what's going to happen in 2018. And just to give an example of South Korea that actually wanted to regulate the cryptocurrency trade as well, same thing is happening here in South Africa. SARS wants everybody who is trading bitcoins and other currencies, they want to be able to tax us. So yeah, we're gonna probably be taxed on any exchanges that we sell our cryptocurrencies on. And that's not nice. I don't like that. But honestly, I don't think the governments will be able to stop this entirely, be able to tax everybody, because some people will find a new way of trading cryptocurrencies directly to other people or just on a different exchange. The governments will be able to work with one exchange that the people who's trading on that will be taxed, but they won't be able to do it on every exchange out there. So the cryptocurrency market will find a new way of trading and just preventing taxes and all of that, because that's what it was actually made for. But now moving away from the cryptocurrencies, but still more to the cyber and hacking news almost, China has just jailed a man for 5 years for running a VPN. Now, earlier this year, China has put on a ban on any VPN services that was not registered by the authorities. Apple was also forced to remove a bunch of VPN apps from the App Store because of this new ban. And with the man, he was just running a VPN service where about 8,000 foreigners were on and 5,000 just normal businessmen. So he didn't register it straight away, and he got jailed for 5.5 years and is forced to pay 500,000 yen, which they said is the equivalent to the revenue he made running the VPN service. Now, also, this is not really that big of a news because China has also banned Google, YouTube, and Facebook. So they really don't want anybody to get news from the outside, from the rest of the world. They just want everybody in their bubble, which they control. Okay, and then the last topic is about Vietnam that has actually hired over 10,000 people to work in their new Cyberwarfare unit that is against the wrong views. Now, how this is going to work is if Vietnam feels that, same with China, people aren't allowed to see this, then they are going to ban that website or that service. So again, nobody has freedom of speech or just freedom at all. Even talking about freedom of speech, a local blogger there was jailed for 10 years for conducting propaganda against the state. So if you just say anything wrong, you go to prison. It's goodbye for you, 10 years, 5 years, your entire life is over. So that's really horrible. But also a reason why Vietnam is actually doing this is because I do have apparently a very weak cyber security force, so it's very easily for them to get hacked. But this is also because of the increasing amount of countries that are getting into the cyber warfare and cyber espionage game, where they just want to hack certain countries. We hear every now and then that North Korea has hacked somebody with, a lot of the news is with the exchanges now. North Korea has hacked one of the cryptocurrency exchanges. North Korea is the reason for some of the new viruses that's out there. It's not always them probably, but this is a big thing, and it could be that a lot of the countries, they want to target a different country, and that is cyber warfare. They want to cripple that certain country from being able to get access to certain services. So this is the thing that is going to move forward. Cyber terrorism is going to keep growing, and it is definitely a big problem we are going to have to face in the future. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this video of This Week in Tech. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I did keep it a bit shorter today. There's a few more main topics that I just wanted to go over. And this is also the last This Week in Tech episode for 2017, because in a few days it's 2018. Yeah, that's crazy. The year is over. So yeah, thank you all you guys for watching all my videos in 2017. 2018 is going to be an awesome year. More videos, more content, just more everything. But I will make a dedicated video on just my plans for 2018 and just to thank you guys as well. But anyway, thanks for watching guys, and we'll check all of you next time. Cheers guys.